Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. From today we are starting our new journey, and this is from the curriculum which is given in grade 12. So this is the first chapter we are starting, Python Revision 201. Before the starting of this chapter, I have already covered all the past papers, like the paper which came in 2024, 23, 22, 21. All the four papers are given. Uh, the whole explanation is done by me, and I'm going to share the link. If you want to go through it, I am going to share the link in the description box, and you can check each and every part. I explained it properly. You know very well, to score good marks in the exam, you should be clear with the pattern of the question paper, so that you will get an idea about the time management also, because the paper is little lengthy. So you have to manage the time, like how much time you will get to finish one of the section of the question paper. So just keeping that thought in my mind, I started first from the past papers. But at the same time, if you are giving the importance to the past paper, for you should be clear with the portion also. So with this thought, I am starting our new series, and in this I'll try to cover everything. So this is the first chapter, Python Revision Tour. And yeah, this chapter is completely based on the portion which they have already covered in grade 11, like the fundamentals of Python. We have the modes, we have the history, the pluses and the minuses of Python. We have the data types, the operators, the conversion, implicit, explicit, the decision making statements, the loop statements. So everything they covered in this. So this is a summarized form of the fundamentals of Python. So without wasting our time, let us start with this chapter, which is the first chapter of our book. So the first is the introduction. Python programming is, who developed this language actually? Judo Van Rossum in early 1990s actually have developed this language, and this is really one of the popular language, because the people those are working from Solang in some other platforms, they are also learning this language. Okay, so yeah, it is one of the popular language among all the languages like C++, Java, Python, .NET, C Sharp, what all languages are there. So this language is used for the development of the softwares or the applications, and even for the development of the web applications. Okay, web is a term which is used for internet. So for the development of web applications also we are using it. Now next, if you will go for the features or the pluses, okay, so if you will go for the features or the pluses of the Python language, many of the advantages are there. The same content will work for the features. So the first feature is easy to use. Really, to work with this language is quite easy, because the syntax, if you have any idea about other languages and you will compare the syntax of Python language with some other languages, the syntax is really easy. I can give you one small example, like in Java, if you want to display anything, you have to write system.out.println. But in case of Python, only print we are writing and the same thing, right? So a small example I gave. So this is a simple, this is a language with simple syntaxes rule. Then we have the interpreted language, code and execution, and the interpretation is the line by line. Okay. Then cross-platform language. So it is a cross-platform language. I mean, you can write the code in one of the platform. Platform is nothing but the operating system, and then you can execute it in any other platform, right? Like if suppose you have written the code by using Windows, and then the same code you can execute it on Linux also, right? So this is the feature which is called cross-platform. Next to this, we have the expressive language, less code to be written. Okay, if you will compare it, I told you already, because I have idea about other languages also. So here the less number of codes are required to do the same thing. So that is called expressive language. Then the completeness is the wide range of library. This is range. Okay, so many libraries are available in this language, so which will help you to reduce the code of this language, right? Then this is freely available on the market. They are not asking you to pay anything. Okay, so this is free and open source. I mean, the source is, what is better than that? Nothing, because the code is also available. So well, these are the 6 main features of the language Python, right? Now if you will go for some of the minuses, because the something is new coming, so some restrictions are also there. The first one is lesser libraries. The point is, libraries are there in Python also, but if you will compare it with some other languages like Java, okay, so if you will compare it with Java, in Java we have more libraries, okay, as compared to other languages like C++ and Java. Slow language, as it is interpreted language, so execution will be a little slow, because interpreter is going to work line by line, which will take more time for execution as compared to the things that are executing in one go, which is the feature for compiler. Okay, weak on type binding, so it is not pinpoint on use of a single variable for different data type. Okay, so this is the weak type binding, because type as such, we when we are taking a variable in case of language Python, we are not providing its data type, so weak type binding is there. Okay, so this is also considered as one of the minus of Python. Next is the modes of Python. If you will go for Python language, there are two modes on which you can work in Python language. Okay, so I can show you two of the language. See, I am opening this IDLE, Integrated Development Learning Environment, which will help you to run the code of Python. So it's already there in my system. You can see the first window is appearing here. Okay, so what you have to do, you can check, like we have some options also here. Those options will help you to run the code, and three arrows are there, so those three arrows are called Python prompt. Okay, from where you will start writing the code, Python prompt. This is called Python prompt, and this is the place which is called Python interactive mode. So the default mode when we are opening a software is called the Python interactive mode, right? This is your interactive mode, because here itself you can write anything and you will be getting the output. Suppose I am writing here print and I am writing here string or computer CS. Okay, so it will display CS here itself. So interactive, because you can interact with your system here itself, right? Now if you want to go to the script mode, which they are suggesting you to use for the long code, you go to file menu and then open new file option. Okay, so now this mode is the script mode, where you can write the code which is a long script, a long code which you want to save it for further use. So that one you can write it down here and you can save it, and it will be stored into your secondary storage. Okay, so these are the two modes of Python. So here also the same thing is given. We have the interactive mode, the mode in which the Python prompt is coming. And which one is Python prompt? Those three arrows together. This is called Python prompt. So Python prompt is something, whatever you will write it here, it will give you the output directly. See, interactive mode is also called Python shell. Python shell, okay. And then the second one is the script mode. Python shell mode is used for small code, okay, small codes. But yeah, if you want to save your code, if you are working with long code, in that case you go with script mode, right? So these two modes you have to remember. Just for your clarification, I did it practically also, but if you want to check it, you can check it on my screen. I just took the screenshot of the window. So download first. If you want to execute the code, then you have to download IDLE, which is the open source. You go to the official site of Python, and then you can download it as per the operating system installed into your computer, right? And then you can execute it. Here you can see we are getting three arrows, and those three arrows are considered as the Python prompt, where you can write anything and you will be able to execute it, right? So this is the interactive mode. The second one is script mode. Perfect. Script mode will help you to save your code. If you want to save it, if you have a long code, don't want to write it again and again, then go for script mode. How can I switch from the Python interactive mode to script mode? Yes, this one is the interactive mode. So here only you are getting an option called file. Just click on it, and then one drop down will appear, and from the drop down you have to select new file, right? What you have to select? New file. And when you click on new file, this window will appear, and the cursor will start blinking on the first line of this window or file. Now you can write any code. Here it is. You can write any number of code and then you can run the code. Run is called execution. Okay, you have to execute your code. When you will click it here, you have to select run module, right? When we will execute the code, at that time I will give you the complete step, no worry. And then it will ask you to save your file, give a name to your file, select the location or the path, and then you are done. So the advantage of working with Python script mode is further also if you want to use it, you will be able to work on it, right? Now we are starting with our new topic, that is data types. So data type, I think type of data, which type of data you can store into a variable is called its data type. Like suppose you want to store 10, so 10 is one integer value, so this is integer data type. Suppose I want to store 10.23, so this is float data type, decimal values. So like that we have multiple type of data. We have character data for single values, okay, like A. We have string values which is enclosed in double quotes or single quote. There is no difference in case of character and string. In case of Python, they both are working in a similar way. So everything we are going to cover, this type function will help you to check the type of value. Okay, so what you can do, I mean, if you have written type 1, so 1 is one integer value. So when you will write like this on Python prompt, it will give you int, type int, because this 1 is one integer value. Like that only, suppose you have written type and you have written 1.2, and when you will press the enter key and when you will find the output, this will give you type float, because this is one float value and the float will come in single quote. In this way you will get the output, right? So yes, type function, what you have to remember, type function is actually used to find the type of a value. Type means data type of a value. So now data type is which type of value you can store into a variable is considered as its data type. Now Python supports so many data types, right? So many. These so are new to Python only, but yeah, number, string, boolean is common for. This is the basic data types which is common in all the languages. Number is to store the numbers or the numeric values, whether it is a positive number, negative number, with decimal, without decimal, whatever it is, number is number only. Then next to that you have string. So I'm writing here the example like 10.10, 10.2. Even Python supports complex number also, in which we have a imaginary part. Right, now the second one is string. String is a combination of characters. Anything written in double quotes or single quote is considered as string. Okay, so anything, I mean, if you can add one digits also, it is not like I can add only the alphabets. I can write ICT @1. This is also a string to enclosed in single quote or in double quotes. Then we have Boolean data type, we have list, we have tuple, we have dictionary, and we have sets. Okay, so one by one we are going to cover all these data types in details. So in starting, we are starting from number data type. So number is the number values. Okay, number is numeric values, numeric data type. So three types of numbers I have mentioned here. We have the integer data type, we have the floating point data type, and we have the complex numbers. So integer is used to store the whole numbers without decimal. You can see two of the examples are given. This is one positive value and this is one negative value. So positive or negative, if it is a whole number, you can store it into integer data type, right? Now the second one is floating point data type. Floating point. So floating point is to store the float values. So next is the floating point data type, in which you can store float values whether positive or negative. Example is same, only you can see just I added some decimal values to make it a float number. Okay, this is floating point data type. Next is the complex number, in which you have the imaginary part also. So you have a plus ib. In case if you want to work with the normal number and the imaginary part, then we have a complex number here. See, one Then next topic is type conversion. If suppose the number is given in one type, okay, so you can convert it into other type also as per the requirement of the question. Sometimes you have to work only with integer number, right? You can't work with a floating point number. In that case, you can convert it into a data type, okay, that is called type conversion. To convert one data type to another data type of a variable, obviously the value to from one type to another type is called its type conversion. Now you please check, the value is 12.6, which is a float value, okay, but my requirement is to work only with integer, number, okay. So what can be done? I can convert it into integer. So this is what is written here, int. So that means this value we are converting into integer data type, and after that I am storing it into a variable. So when you will go for the integer part of it, it will give you 12, because 12.6 is floating value, 12 will become one integer value. So now when you will try to display the value of this variable a, it will give you 12, which is the integer part, right? So that is called type conversion. You will be able to convert the data type of a variable from one type to other type. Okay, some more examples I have taken here just to make you clear with all this. So here you please check, we have 12.6, which is already a floating value, and we are converting it into float. So this will be the same, it remains same. But yeah, if you have an integer value, this is one integer value, and when you are converting this value into float, then after decimal, if there is no part, but still it is going to add 1 0 here just to convert it into floating point value. Okay, so anyhow the resultant will be floating only in case if you are converting one integer value into float. Okay, now the complex number, in which you have two parts, one is the integer part and another one is the imaginary part. Okay, so it is a combination of integer and imaginary part. You can see the example is a plus b j. So a is one integer part and b is the imaginary part. Okay, this one. Now a is equal to, suppose I have written like this, a is equal to complex 5. So in that case, only if one parameter is there in parenthesis, this will consider as integer part, right? This is one integer part, and if it is integer part, then where is imaginary part? So we will consider there is no imaginary part. Okay, now the second example, you see in this second example it is 3,6. So the first part will consider as integer in that case, and the second will consider as imaginary part. So in that case, when you will check the value of like a, so this a is 3 and b is 6. So a is the real part and b is the imaginary part. So I hope you are clear with all the three types of numbers. The first one we did the integer one, the second one we did the floating one, and the third one we did the complex number. Okay, so now we are starting with string in Python. So string, I already told you, string is a combination of characters enclosed in single or in double quotes. There is no difference in language Python for representing a string. You can represent it a string in single quote also, even in double quotes. The example which I have written is computer application, that I wrote in double quotes. But suppose I want to take one more string, so I can write it like this also, ICT, which is completely fine, okay, which is completely acceptable by the Python compiler. So please check it, str is equal to computer application. Now we are printing it out. Print str, print is a statement which is used to display anything on the output window. So this computer application will be displayed on the screen. Like if you will try to print S1, it will display ICT. Okay, so string is what you have to remember, string is a combination of characters enclosed in single quotes or in double quotes, right? So now under string, when we will go for the further explanation of it, we have one topic called string slicing. String slicing means, like if you have a long string, then you can extract a part of a string, extract a part of the string. So for that we have a different concept called string slicing. So before starting this string slicing, first I'll give you the idea about the forward and the backward indexing. So there is a number given to all the characters present in a string. Suppose there is a string and the string is Megha, right? Now I wrote all the characters in a small box. So forward indexing, Fi is for forward indexing. It will move in a forward direction, okay? And in a positive values will increase. So starting from 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. So this is the forward indexing, right? Now if you will go for the backward indexing, so Bi is for backward indexing. It will work from right to left. Can you see it is written here, right to left? Okay, starting value in case of backward indexing is -1, then -2, -3, -4, and -5. So now the point is, if you want to work on a single character, string manipulation is required, where you want to work with a single character, right? You want to extract the first character from the complete string. So what can be done? I can write S1 and I can write 0. So S1 0, S1 is the the name of the string, and the position we are mentioning here, the position 0 is for the first character present in the string. So this is also equals to M. Even if you will write S1 -5, S1 -5, so this is also M only, right? So actually the single character is having two index values with respect to the concept forward indexing and the backward indexing, right? So what you have to remember, the forward indexing is working from position or index 0. Indexing is also called position, right? Position. So forward indexing is starting from 0. Backward indexing is starting from -1. This is the main thing you have to remember. Suppose you have to find the reverse of the string. In that case, you can work with the backward indexing. Suppose you want to just traverse the whole string, then you can work from the forward indexing. So what will be in use, that depends upon the query or the question, but you should be clear with everything, right? Let me take one more example to give you more idea about the forward and the backward indexing. So it is, suppose I am taking one string here, and the string is S1 is equal to, suppose, computer, right? So now I am just expecting a character here. It is, suppose I wrote S1 and then I am writing here from 0 colon and something I am writing here 4. Okay, so this is the starting position. Okay, this is the starting position and this is the ending position. Now the point is, it is going to extract this part. Okay, I am storing it into a variable, suppose S2. So this is 0. You please check we have computer. So COMPUTER, right? And the position is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because the values are positive only, so this will work only with the forward indexing starting from 0. So from here it will start extracting. Now 4 is there, so 4 is excluded. It will work 1 less than the value which is given for ending indexing. Please listen again. Please make it a little clear. It will work till the end value -1. So the end value is 4. So it will work till 3 only, right? So this will be extracted. So when you will check the answer, when you will print the value of this S2, print S2, okay? So when you will print the value of S2, it will display COMP. I mean, I wrote it in capital letter, but as per the given thing, you will be getting the answer C only in capital, COMP, right? Like that only they can give any of the value. Suppose here we have a -4 value, okay? Suppose here only you have -4. So you will start from -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, and -8. Starting value is 0 only. So it will work from here to here. Okay, -4. So -4 is here only, and which is not at all acceptable. So it will work till here only, COMP. By chance we are getting the same value, but this is not the always the same case. Okay, so like that they can ask some of the questions from string slicing. So I hope you are clear till here, and in the coming videos we are going to cover the remaining part of this Python revision tour 1. So if you are clear with everything, fine. If you have any doubt, please don't forget to drop a message in the comment box. I'll clear your query, okay? And if you are if you like the video, please don't forget to like it, to subscribe it, and to subscribe the channel and to share it with your friends. Thank you so much. Bye.